Many immigrants are being persecuted right now, including Kilmar Abrego Garcia.
For the people that don't know, that's the alleged MS-13 person that was deported back to his home country, Salvador.
Repeatedly basing that on the fact that he had tattoos and the fact that he had 8 men in his car that were going to a construction site.
I mean, if you're going to speak to Charlie Kirk and you see him going down, grabbing a piece of paper, because he knows you're going to ask this question.
I said, hold on.
What are these tattoos exactly?
Uh-huh.
Is that not an MS-13 gang tattoo? What is that? That's marijuana M, smiley face S, cross 1, skull 3.
Okay.
That's MS-13.
I mean, it's a pattern. We can allege it. You can say it's not enough. Totally agree. But we should take it into consideration.
2. What jersey did Kilmar Garcia wear on a routine basis, and what was the significance of it in the Maryland jurisdiction of gang territory?
He wore a Michael Jordan Bulls
Yes,
jersey.
and what is the significance? What gang wears Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls jerseys in the Maryland proper area?
I think most people would say it's a clue, and most people would agree it's not nothing.
White fence, and the Crips of this area wear Dodgers jerseys. So do you think that I would be affiliated with white fence
hold on a second. It's called a
no, you can't.
It's accumulation of fact.
Wearing the jersey and just having the tattoo is not enough. But they did have enough when he entered illegally. They did have enough when he was illegally and he punched his wife. So officially, if you add all these points together, I think you have more than one reason to justify that, hey, maybe, just maybe, we're doing a lot of due process than you think.
That's an interesting way of putting. That makes sense.
Look at these people. Look at these people that are wearing MAGA hats right now.
Allow me to
finish. Could I say that they're part of a big gang?
Allow me to finish.
Could I say that they're part of a big gang?
But I think you need more than that. Maybe a few tattoos. Maybe a few breaking crimes. Maybe entering the country illegally, and then we'd be like, that's suspicious.
Have the hand tattoos. You have the fact that he told the judge in 2019, I'm afraid to go back to El Salvador because another gang will come after me. Allow me to finish without interrupting. Number 3, he wore the Chicago Bulls, which is a gang affiliation in the Maryland area. Now, if you're in LA wearing a Dodgers jersey, that's one piece of evidence.
And that's why you have to be very careful when somebody says,
Let us investigate.
If you're wearing Bulls gear day after day in the Maryland area, and you have MS-13 affiliated things, and you're telling a judge that you're part of a gang, and your wife has filed declaratory distress relief because you're a wife beater, and then finally the fact he's not an American, he broke into this country, and he does not afford the same rights that Americans are.
I'm sorry, but to sort of put that on you, right? He had a green card.
That's a lie.
No, he did not. That is not correct.
What I find interesting, you have people in the background wearing a Make America Great Again. They don't look white. I think some people of the South American countries do understand gang affiliated way better than you think. And about the green card, that is a lie.
Wrong. That's not true.
Was he married? Was he married? Was he married to an American citizen?
Does not matter. Time out. The judge, see that you got your facts so wrong.
Since when can you enter a country illegally and get married to a legal person?
The judge said, Sir, Mr. Garcia, you will be deported at any time for any reason back to any country. The only country I'm not allowing you to go be deported to was El Salvador.
I mean, if you say you can be deported back to your own country back in the day because another gang will find you, well, they might deport you to a safer country.
Why was he deported to El Salvador?
That's the only mistake.
Why was he deported to El Salvador?
Because he was caught up. Time out. It's not that he was deported that it was wrong. It's not that he wasn't part of MS-13.
Well, the fact that he was deported was wrong because he didn't have any due process.
Vengadilo, remember to subscribe. So I don't think a lot of people understand what due process is, but due process means that the government has to treat you fairly and follow the rules before it can punish you, take your stuff, or lock you up. In simple terms, you have the right to know what you're being accused of, you have the right to tell your side of the story, you have the right to a fair hearing or trial, which he had to in a criminal court.
What? He had the most due process of any illegal in the history of the country.
That's an exaggeration, but that got so much attention on social media, it's kind of close. I mean, I've never seen political people go to a country and tell them, hey, remember that legal person in your country? Send him back to my country illegally.
Actually incorrect. He's going through it right now while he's in El Salvador.
Hold on.
I think they have a feeling as if this is like an Amber Heard case. It has to be recorded. You got the jury, bada beam, bada boom.
He's going through it right now while he's in El Salvador.
In 2020, he had due process. The judge literally signed an order saying, at any time ICE can come and get you. This is your final warning, Mr. Garcia.
I think you can just say, hey man, if you're illegal and you commit a heinous crime like physical or even worse, that is reasonable enough to deport a person.
I find it so interesting. You do know the fact he beat his wife, right?
Okay, you do know the fact that Donald Trump has raped multiple women and his wife. Okay, yeah.
Wait, what?
Ladies and gentlemen, libel and sexual assault, they're two different things. And I think because you did this, that's why he won.
Rapist, he raped his wife and multiple women.
Oh, he raped his wife, really?
And he's on record.
Which
and he's
wife
on record
did he rape exactly?
Ivana.
Oh, he raped Ivana.
I do believe so, yes.
Wait, what?
Like, where's the evidence?
Oh, and what's your evidence for such a claim? Because I have evidence of court documents that Kilmar Garcia beat his wife. Want me to read it? In 2021, Abrego Garcia's wife, Jennifer Vasquez Tura, filed a protective order against him, alleging instances of physical abuse, including being punched repeatedly and scratched. She then filed a second order trying to protect the children from him abusing them on a nearly weekly basis.
But isn't Salvador right now one of the safest countries right now? So officially, even if you sent him back, he has more human right than he had back in the day.
2019, Abrego Garcia was arrested in Maryland alongside other individuals. Authorities claimed repeatedly that were experts saying that the traits of his behavior, his iconography, and his tattoos were MS-13, such as specific clothing and tattoos, citing information from a confidential informant alleging from his gang membership. The judge agreed and signed his deportation order.
Don't everybody believe in Google? Go Google that shit.
In other words, he appeared in front of a judge.
What is the issue here exactly?
Has he specifically stated that his tattoos were... That's ironic when... Okay. Has he specifically stated that his tattoos were an affiliation of MS-13, or is that being a narrative being controlled by the Trump administration?
Which gang member would ever say that? Unless he's around gang members. I'm like, come on, man. That's like I see a family go into a room, the husband and wife go into that room. When they come out, the wife is bleeding. And he's gonna come out, I'm a wife beater. Like, bruh, I like, how do people need to present evidence?
MS-13. Because weed, smiley face, and skull, how are the skull and crossbones and the cross going to be thought of as 1-3?
Well, that's an interesting question. If it wasn't
Stay
MS-13...
stay high, smile till I die. Stay high, smile till I die.
If it wasn't MS-13, why did his girlfriend blur out the tattoos on his hand in the recent images they posted together?
Maybe the wife thought it might make him look like a gang member, but he's not a gang member. He's a nice person.
If there's nothing to hide, why wouldn't she show it for the world?
I mean, yeah, you're actually, that was a good point.
Well, at least one thing he admits.
I want to.
There's nothing to hide. She'd say, hey, here's the tattoos that she's blurring them out in all the images. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Nothing to hide, let it ride.
ICE has repeatedly persecuted Mexican Americans and or just Latino Americans for having tattoos and dark skin. How can we prevent people from being?
Are you sure?
That's actually not a lie. That's actually not a lie.
What is your evidence for this?
Multiple articles and multiple
articles
and multiple newsletters that have, multiple news broadcasts that have let us know that ICE is racially profiling people.
Majority of the people that are crossing the border, they're a different color. So if so many have come in, isn't it a little logical that people might focus more on non-white people because most people that cross the border are non-white? I mean, I'm not saying it's a good thing, but you can say, hey, go look for more white people that might be illegal. Like it's way less. You can at least admit that.
This is all targeted at illegals that have broken into our country. These are people that have broke into the United States of America.
And what makes them inherently bad? Because there's multiple people that overstays their visa.
By saying we already have bad people here, you're also saying some of those people are also bad. And even if I want to use that as defense, nobody is saying they're evil.
It does not matter your intention. Hold on,
everybody's bringing up murders. Everybody's bringing up rapists.
There's a lot wrong here.
But what's wrong with that is when rape is committed by men, 51% of all rape is committed by white men. White men.
I want people to be very careful when they use this statistic, because even if it seems that the 25% is very low, you have to understand if you compare the total amount of white people and the total amount of people that are non-white, you're going to realize that that 25% is very high for so little people.
What should the penalty be if someone breaks into America?
I'm sorry,
what should the penalty be when someone breaks into the United States of America?
Personally, I think we should help them get processed into the country.
In other words, you're just incentivizing people to come over more illegally. Who's going to pay for it? Well, taxes are not going to go up higher. Well, the government is going to tax us to help the people that you want to help.
Country should become home.
Oh,
Especially,
so wait, hold on. I want to understand.
well-
The more, do you invite random people into your home and be like, hey, you could just squat on my floor and eat my food?
Hey guys, so that's how you make friends, actually. So when you
Now I get it.
I really like this guy because he really wants to be liked. And he's doing his best. And it's a great quality.
You're talking very fast and not making a lot of sense, so let's try to slow it down, okay? The final moral question.
okay,
If I went into Mexico
yeah,
without proper documents or invitation, what happens to
people
me?
do it all the time.
What happens to
People
me?
do it all the time.
What happens to me?
Are you saying if you get caught? Are you saying?
Yeah, if I get caught, what would the Mexican government do to me?
I guess deport you.
We should do the same.
I just find it interesting that you have a very big heart for Americans, but you don't have a very big heart for Mexico to do the same thing. I don't know.
Don't get me wrong, makosa kita bong. Buta fire na mi blonde, kush hash, purple skunk, criollo, colombici, jam jam, durloqueta, verdeta, welcome.